Only if words could express all that I feel for you, my dear one. Only if tears could flow to you, depicting my longing for your presence, my love. Only if kisses could give away the soul attached to you, yearning to cage my beloved. Nothing can send my love for you. I am helpless in this merciful world. I'm motionless in this revolving planet. Forgive me for not being able to explain why I love you.
That was Himadri Gogoi reading a poem, Only If. You're listening to a poet's work, a podcast where you will hear the poems from poets across the world, across the generations, and across multiple languages. I'm your host Ashwamegh. The podcast will feature a new poem or a new poet every week or bi-weekly. Coming back to our guest of this episode, Himadri is a poet based out of Gurgaon and originally from Assam. She has co-authored the book called Emotions Inked. She loves cooking and she keeps experimenting with new recipes. When she is not writing, you would find her with a few brushes and a canvas. I sat down with Himadri and talked about the poem you just heard and how she uses the power of poetry in her life. So only if Himadri, how did you got the idea of creating this poem? There was something going on, or were you thinking something?
Only if was basically a thought that had come to me when someone actually asked me, how do you explain why exactly you like me or about me, what exactly you like. And that's when it came up, only if you could explain a few things, right?
Yeah.
Then only probably you can explain what love means.
Yeah. So, do you finish your poems in one go, or do you pour out the words and try finishing the poem as early as possible, or do you take days, as in you live with the poem to finish it?
I basically write poems in one go because I've tried writing sometimes in batches. I think, okay, let me write today a half part and maybe tomorrow I'll continue. And often it has become that the theme of the poem changes the next day. Today I have a different thought while writing it, and tomorrow there is a different thought. And when I combine both the stanzas of the poem, then it doesn't match.
Yeah.
So recently I have started writing it in one go.
Okay.
Maybe sometimes it is small, but it's okay because it goes with the theme. Otherwise, the two stanzas look very different from each other. Because I believe that poems are the emotions that come out, right? And every day you have a different emotion and different feeling compared to the other day.
Yeah, exactly. Say if you are not finishing your poem in one go, or you are putting out them in stanzas, multiple stanzas, then you feel like if the days are going by, and did you ever feel like something is missing out in your life and you want to complete it, kind of feeling?
Yeah, I feel that something is missing, but when I try writing it again, it looks, like I said, very different. Because today I might be a bit sad and I wrote something, and tomorrow the feeling goes off because the day might be very joyful for me. And when I then start writing, then it looks very different.
Okay.
Though I tried, I feel that something is missing, but then it just becomes very different to write it the next day.
Got it. That's nice to hear. Like you keep your poems alive with you. And yeah, like, do you often visit your poems after you have written it? Like, if you have left some poem unfinished and you wanted to finish it, and you have that particular poem stuck in your mind, and then you're trying to like revisit that and complete that.
Yeah, of course, even I try to revisit those, but unfortunately, I could not find the best words or best fit in words for it.
Okay.
So till date, and this is still unfinished with me. And I think that's the beauty of it. Like
Yeah.
sometimes unfinished, tattered things looks better than the polished ones.
Yeah, exactly. For our listeners, can you suggest something for budding writers? So how they should write and how they should start like writing poems if they want to follow and become a poet in future?
Okay, so I am not currently having a very big status that I am already a great poet, etc. But a very small point which even I follow even till now is that don't force yourself to write something. Just write it, whatever emotion, and you will see something beautiful out of it. And even notice over time your writing would change because that's how I felt it when I started writing in school. It was very different, very amateur, very childlike joy things that I wrote. As I started going to high school, things changed. Right, the first crushes, the butterflies while going to school. Started writing those. Then college again comes with a bit of responsibility, certain things. Then you see a different version of yourself writing different things. And as now, I can consider myself as an adult with different set of responsibilities and a different side of life that we are experiencing. Again, the writing changes at this stage. So write whatever you feel like, and you would see, like I said, something beautiful coming out of it. You might not realize that it's good, but when you read out to somebody, then that person will feel it. And it brings another point, that is connection, because what you want to go through, somebody else might be also going through. Probably that person is not able to express it now, but when you write it, they can relate. And that's what makes the beauty of poem. That's why I say poem is the sense of our emotions, is the sense of the words. That's what makes a poem beautiful.
So when you like read out your poems to another person, and maybe that particular person is going through the same kind of life events, and they can relate it very much, and they feel the poem in depth.
Yes.
Yeah. Name two poets like you follow the most, like you like them the most.
Okay, it's a very tough question because I like many poets, but recently I have started loving the poems of Rabindranath Tagore. Though during school days we used to read a lot of it, but of course the meaning at that time was different, and it was more of like, okay, reading it sometimes for school for the marks, and sometimes just for the sake of reading it. And now it adds to the meaning, the meaningful words, the sentences. So Rabindranath Tagore is one. The another person whom I have been reading for quite some time is Sheesh Bagrecha. He himself calls himself as an Instagram poet. So very small things, okay. It's not like big words or big how do I say? I mean, letters that have a lot of meaning, a very good vocab. It's not that, but there's a very simple words and emotion that he writes, and I think it brings a lot of connections. Hence, many people follow him on Instagram, and even I personally love his poems.
Okay, so those are like Rabindranath Tagore and Ashish Bagrecha for you.
Yes. But of course, like Rumi's poems are evergreen. You can never deny those, right? Those will always remain in your mind.
That was my conversation with Himadri. Once again, my name is Ashwamegh and you are listening to A Poet's Work. If you like this episode, do subscribe to A Poet's Work wherever you listen to podcasts to be notified about the new episodes every week or bi-weekly. We will close out this episode with another poem by Himadri called Poem and Essence.
What is a poem? While we all write something or the other with or without thoughts, one thing that is a core is the essence of it, which is the truth. The way we write changes with time and merges with different view. Sometimes we write for love, sometimes on hope, sometimes in pain, sometimes with hatred, sometimes with drowned anger, and sometimes just write a few words without meaning. But all are poems, be it a few words to few paragraphs. Once someone told me, your and my name together itself is a poem. And years of reading and writing poems occasionally, I have realized essence matters, not the words. Keep the essence intact and let the emotions flow with or without thoughts. This essence is a poem. After all, we all are poets for someone, writing for some time, while everyone keeps wondering why and what we write.